gonna talk about my 10 favorite songs from Led Zeppelin. There'll be timestamps in the description where you can navigate through the video, and there's playlists where I've done top 10 song lists for other bands you can check out if you want. So the way this video works is I listen to all Led Zeppelin's like studio songs, and I tell you what I think are the 10 best based on, my knowledge and awesome sense of music. I don't put the music actually in this video, like I don't want copyright issues, but I'll make 10 shorts, one for each song. Some reason in the shorts you can like put the music and it's no big deal, so you can hear them there. With that, here comes some information first about Led Zeppelin. Formed in 1968 in London, the band was comprised of Robert Plant on vocals, Jimmy Page on guitar, John Paul Jones on bass, and John Bonham on drums. Formed in 68, but like had their first album in 69, and they had 9 albums through 1982. Unfortunately, the last album came after the death of the drummer, who died in 1980. These guys, man, they made a lot of music that was pretty awesome in the time that they were a band. They're really considered, in the top 3 bands usually when you talk about rock music and you say who are the best bands of all time. You got the Beatles, you got the Rolling Stones, you got Led Zeppelin. So, I mean, that's usually what people say. Led Zeppelin is known for kind of almost developing more of like the metal or the heavier style of music, but they did it in a very folky, in a very blues way. They're a British band, but I think they had a very Americana sound compared to like other British bands. I thought they sounded more like an American band to a certain extent, and I think that comes from the blues influence. They had a darker like mysticism to them a little bit. It wasn't like Black Sabbath, like darkness. It was more like wizardry and stuff. And yeah, a lot of cool tracks, and I think these are the 10 best ones. The song remains the same from 1973 on Houses of the Holy. This song has a very like epic, almost like movie soundtrack, like something really fast happening kind of sound to it. Very cool textures. There's like 12-string guitars in it. There's a main intro guitar solo. It has like 2 distinct different guitar solos happening like over top of each other, which is awesome. The melody, it really, again, the movie soundtrack it sounds very like instrumental. I think it was initially actually meant to be an instrumental, and they added vocals at some point later, but the vocals to me never really fit that great. The vibe changes of the song from being so fast and it slows. I don't like it as much, but then it picks back up again. It has that urgency. There's another cool guitar solo towards the end. And when there are the vocals actually at the end, they sound a little funny. I think I read that they were like sped up or something. So when you sped it up back then, it wasn't like today. You couldn't like pitch change it. It changed the pitch when you made it go faster, and it sounds kind of funny, the vocals at the end. Custard Pie from Physical Graffiti in 1975. This song reminds me a little bit of Trampled Underfoot, which was a single. I think this is a better song. They both kind of have a similar sound, and that they use a clavinet, which is like a cool, unique keyboard sounding thing. The song is very American and blues inspired, but done in kind of the Led Zeppelin original way. The guitar solo in it is it's cool. I don't like the tone of it with like the wah sound, but I like the solo a lot. It's awesome. There's a harmonica at the end that sounds like super huge. Sounds like a train's like coming at you. It's probably the most like underrated song in the list, I would say, because they never played it live. It was played at Jason Bonham, the drummer, his son, his wedding, and they did like a 20-minute jam with the dudes all doing it together with him. Jimmy Page has done stuff with the Black Crowes, and they've done it then, but like when Led Zeppelin was a band, it was never done. And it was, 5 years before the death of the drummer, so they had time to play it live if they were going to. Achilles' Last Stand from Presence in 1976. This was one of Page's favorite songs. The solo, he said he thought was as good as the Stairway to Heaven, so I think it's worthy of the top 10 for sure. I think the song gets compared to Kashmir a lot. I like this better than Kashmir, but it has similar kind of vibes to like that Middle Eastern sound a little bit. This is the longest song on the list that I have, but there's so many cool parts of this song. It's a song that uses odd times in it in a really cool way. This is the first time in Led Zeppelin's like studio catalog where John Paul Jones, the bass player, is using an 8-string bass. So it's like 4 strings, but then doubled, which is pretty awesome, like a 12-string guitar, but for bass, amazing. The guys in Cheap Trick, I think, do that and a few others sometimes, but it's not a common thing. It's really, really cool. He's not only playing a cool bass, he's doing like the Iron Maiden Steve Harris gallop that they, kind of invented later, but you hear that kind of galloping here. So this song was actually written while they were on tax exile, like in a different country, so they didn't have to pay taxes for being in wherever they were, Britain, I'm guessing, too long. Plant got hurt. He hurt his Achilles tendon, actually, and he was in a wheelchair when he wrote this song. So it's about their tax exile, but he actually had his Achilles hurt. So I don't know if that influenced the name. I'm guessing it did. Communication Breakdown from their self-titled debut album in 1969. This song was the B-side of the first US single, Good Times, Bad Times. This song's got such a ripping guitar solo, ripping like rock song in general. It's been said that this song is maybe what inspired kind of like the tone and the power chordy aggression, the way you hear stuff in punk rock. Like this song is said to be like the grandfather song that kind of started punk rock. So I can hear it in there a little bit. It's got an amazing bass line and a chorus. Again, a lot of times punk rock songs have really simple guitar and really ripping bass. Like think like Rancid a lot. It's really cool. It's a staple of the Led Zeppelin early stuff. Like when they were doing their early shows, they always had this. It became the default like encore song for a long time. It's the shortest song I have on this list. There are songs that are anywhere from 2 to 4 times longer than this song. And it's probably my favorite, spoiler alert, like early Led Zeppelin song. Whole Lotta Love, the opening track from Led Zeppelin 2 in 1969. This song was their first real hit in the US, and it's one of their many songs to be contested in court. Led Zeppelin has a history of maybe copying songs from other people. This one they lost the case, and Muddy Waters and Willie Dixon, I think, got added in 1985 as songwriters, blues American people that they were inspired by. So inspired they sounded just like them in this case. But it's still an amazing song. It's got, it's been voted as like one of the best songs of all time in many different lists. So not just for Led Zeppelin, but for rock in general. It's one of the songs that uses the violin bow, like super like famous, but in the studio is actually like a theremin that they use to give it like a very spacey thing in the bridge. The violin bow is more of a prop on stage, and the guitar solo at the end is so awesome. The song comes back in from that spacey kind of bongo congo weird kind of bridge, and then you get this tone that just sounds like your speakers are going to explode. His speakers probably, they had to like put on ice if he had more than one take. It sounds so awesome. Such a great song, and they really did make it their own, even though they had to add other people as songwriters later on. Heartbreaker from Led Zeppelin 2 in 1969. This song was actually recorded while they were on tour and they were in North America. It would open what would be side 2 if you had vinyl and you flipped it over. It would be the first track on that side. This song just has so much attitude and swagger. The intro, the vocals, the solo, the bridge, all of it. They all have that attitude and swagger kind of in their own way. For guitar players, this is like a holy grail of like tones. Jimmy Page is famous for playing a Gibson guitar through a Marshall amplifier, and it's said that this was the first time he actually did that in the studio. Others have said that he didn't, but I think he said that this was the first time he did it, so I think that counts. Rick Rubin, who's a producer legend, he said that it's one of the greatest guitar riffs of all time in this song. Eddie Van Halen said that the solo in this song is what inspired him to start doing the tapping stuff. Steve Vai said it was a huge influence to him. So, yeah, this song kicks ass and rocks. What I think is cool, too, is the Living, Loving, Mad. She's Just a Woman. That song, when I heard this song as a kid on the radio, that song came after it. This was like in the 90s and 2000s, to date myself. So, like, it wasn't back in the day. I don't know if they did it that way. But that's actually the B-side to A Whole Lotta Love, and I always associate this song with that, but that's not on the list. Misty Mountain Hop from Led Zeppelin 4 in 1971. This song was the B-side to Black Dog, which was also a big hit, but not in the list, spoiler alert. It's a staple for Plant when he does his live solo stuff. He always plays this. Song has a very strange rhythm. You kind of don't start with like 1, 2, 3. You do like N1, N2, N3. It's like the and is where you start. It's kind of a weird thing, but it's cool. Gives it that awesome sound and vibe. The lyrics seem to be about, in the name of the song, like Lord of the Rings, like Tolkien type stuff. But then he's also singing about like what was modern time things that were happening too. John Paul Jones, the most underrated part of the band for sure, does an awesome keyboard solo. I learned as a kid about the Doors before I learned about Led Zeppelin. And then when I learned about Led Zeppelin, this was the first album I got. So this song I love because it had a really Doors, Ray Manzarek keyboard vibe to it that I thought was like super awesome. The Ocean from Houses of the Holy in 1973 that talked about like already awesome guitar intro, awesome guitar riffs. To me, like this is my favorite guitar riff for like a badass, awesome intro guitar riff. The song takes a minute to get going because there's like this really cool count in that's really neat and I think is kind of overlooked as part of the song. And it's got a unique rhythm, but it's done in a very musical way. You have 4/4, so you count to 4, and then you do 7/8, and you do it again. So I guess it could be like some like 11, 4, 8, I don't know exactly because 4 and 7, but no, you do 4, you do 7, it works. It's awesome, super cool. The last minute of the song gives it like a whole different completely vibe. It's like a doo-wop Motown almost. Like there's this really, really cool, awesome sounding guitar solo. The guitar solo is cool, the sound is cool, the tone is cool. So yeah, this is a song that I bet a lot of people know, but they do not know the name of the song if you asked them. They could hear it and they could be like, oh yeah, Led Zeppelin, what's the name of that song? Like most people aren't gonna know it's called The Ocean, but that's what it's called. Stairway to Heaven from Led Zeppelin 4 in 1971. This is considered the best rock song of all time by many people, if not the best, in the top list. It's my number 2, which some people might think is crazy, but yeah, it is. So it was never released as a single, which is kind of wild to think about, but there were like business reasons for that. Also, when it was first played live, like it never really went over that well. People weren't a fan of it when they heard it like live initially, but it became, I think it's considered or is the most requested like rock song of all time, like for the radio, which is pretty amazing. At least like terrestrial normal radio. I don't know about like XM satellite, but like the old days, this was the song that was requested the most of ever. It's got just so many cool, awesome elements to it. A recorder in the intro, which is really, really cool. Your kids play those when they're in kindergarten. A double neck guitar, like, iconic song with him playing the double neck guitar page. Iconic guitar solo in general. The guitar solo was done by a guitar given to a fellow Yardbird, Jeff Beck, to Jimmy Page. So pretty amazing that the guitar solo was done by a RIP guitar from Jeff Beck. Just amazing, amazing song, classic song, considered one of the best rock songs of all time. Jamaica, a single from Houses of the Holy in 1973. It's also in America, a lot of people call it Dire Maker. It's not the name. Did Jamaica is more of a British way. Not the name. It's Jamaica, and it's got an obvious like reggae sound to it, so it makes sense that's the name. Initially, it had some bad criticism. John Paul Jones was among those. He didn't like the song at all. A lot of critics didn't like it. Plant loved it. He said it was his favorite vocal performance he's ever done. It's my favorite Led Zeppelin song, even though I like guitar stuff more. I'm a guitar player. If Plant says it's his favorite, then yeah, it should be your favorite too. It's got a guitar solo that's so, so good, melodic, relaxed, an amazing tone. It's one of the only like Led Zeppelin songs I can actually play all of, like all the way through, like almost like perfect. So like maybe that's why I like it so much too. It's simple, it's easy to play. There's this outro where he's saying fire almost kind of seductively. And if that's not good enough for you to make it number 1, Axl Rose said that it got him into heavy rock. So if, Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses is saying this is his favorite song, like, yeah, it should be your favorite song. And that's why it's my favorite song. Not because of the Axl Rose part, but all the other kick-ass stuff about it.